Hello and welcome to episode 30 already of the Bao Podcast. For this special episode, we invited Dennis Vangeneugden from Kepler. Kepler is a new player in the housing market that introduces a new housing standard in terms of technology and energy. With an energy level of -15, Kepler homes are extremely energy efficient and save consumers up to €3,000 annually on energy bills. Kepler's homes are built in a workshop in timber frame and delivered to the site 48 days after the start of the production. With this innovative idea, they managed to turn an immediate turnover of €21.5 million in their first year of business. An exceptional performance, and I'm excited to hear more about this story today. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Welcome, Dennis. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I already explained a little bit in the introduction what it is that you do with Kepler. But maybe just explain where the idea for Kepler started and how it has become such a big success from the very, very beginning.
Yeah, big success. Very success, big, as a relative, of course. The idea from Kepler came from a previous company, Pand, where we were just a developer. We didn't build the houses ourselves, so we bought timber frame houses and we just bought the land. The houses were placed on the land, 3D modules. The houses were totally ready. The floor was in the house, kitchen was in the house, and things like that. But I wanted to do everything myself. When I told my previous partner, hey, I think we're going to build those houses ourselves, or I think we need to build the houses ourselves, because I don't like the quality, and I don't mean the painting quality, I mean the flooring, the structure. I don't like it. But it was purely at that point at Pand, the previous company, the houses weren't sold B2C, but was B2B, purely for investors. I wanted to go into B2C market because I wanted to build an affordable house that was energy-wise top of the bill, of course, and I want to do things different. He said, literally, you're crazy. That's a big construction yard, production facility. You can name it what you want, but you need a big-ass place to build those houses. And it's labor intensive. So a lot of people working. And I said, okay, that's what we need to do. And he didn't want that. So then, we split up, and I started Kepler.
And when was this?
May 2021.
Okay. And Pand is still going?
Pand is still going at a lower pace, I think. I'm not operational there anymore, but they're still going at a lower pace. And then it was May 21, around my birthday, I got my money from the previous company. I could do what I want. There was no restrictions in the deal. So I started in September. First I had some quite nice holidays. Not holiday, but holidays. I did something with the family. And I started Kepler engineering. It took, I think, about 9 or 10 months engineering the house. What are we going to do? Why are we going to do it this way? How are we going to do ventilation? How are we going to do the electricity and things like that. And then we started the building process, finding suppliers and things like that. And we started building 1 year later, in October 22. First houses were placed in around this time, previous year, 23, so February. Before the summer break of construction leave, we built 10 houses. And last year we managed to build 27 houses. And at this point we're at the pace that we're building 6 houses every month.
Wow. Yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
We've had previous guests who are in the same business of building modular prefabricated homes, but the fact that you were able to scale it this quickly is quite impressive. And I'm wondering, what do you think is the main reason behind this?
The honest answer is there's no choice with us. We do everything vertical integrated, so we buy the land, we build the house, and we do the development ourselves. But a client can choose their tiles, they can choose the kitchen, and they can choose the color of their kitchen. So our building process is every time the same. I always give the example, if there's two new guys who start in production, or two new guys, one guy is working 1 week, another guy starts. The new guy says, where's the plan? No, the guy next to you is the plan. And when you have made together with the other guy 5 houses, then you are the plan. We don't have, of course we have building plans for sure, but that's the way we do it. We keep it simple, we keep it lean and mean. And especially lean and mean, if I see competitors, we're the leanest company in the 3D modeler space that I know. And I think that's where our success started and is still going on a pretty rapid space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fascinating, and I think a big difference with the competition is the fact that you sell the homes and you basically sell them to yourself, because you also buy the land and you also sell the land with the homes on top of it to the end consumer, right?
Yeah, the Kepler consists of 3 companies. You have one holding, one ground company who buys the land, one Kepler assembly who builds the homes in our construction site in Genk and Limburg, and then the development company who does the development of the site. But the assembly, Kepler assembly, who builds the house, has only one client, and that's ourselves. That's developed. We don't build houses for anybody else, and we're not planning to do that in this time. We only build for our own purposes.
And what was the idea behind doing it that way?
Well, the idea was that I think that we should build better. That's the baseline. And in Dutch is called the word, everybody is building duurzaam. I hate that word. Everybody thinks he's building duurzaam, or I don't know the English word, but it's
sustainable.
Sustainable. But I see big signs. We're building bandwoning. What's the
almost energy? Yeah, like.
But if you build new houses,
energy neutral.
Energy neutral is not almost energy neutral as ban, but that's not, you're doing a great thing. That's what you need to do. That's the ground level. If you build new houses, ban is the norm, and everything that you do better is better than the standard, and we want to do way better. And if you look at the mission that we as a Kepler, we want to make the world net positive better, and then you have to give something back to the planet, and it's a little bit fuzzy, but it's the idea behind that. You have to give the world something better that you receive them, and that we're doing with Kepler houses. They're not CO2 neutral. They're better than that, and we always try to do better than those things, because we believe that energy is going to be energy and sustainability, when it goes hand in hand, is going to be the most important thing in development. In the old days, they say location. Development, if you want to build something, location is important. At this point, a lot of important people, let's call them, they're saying, yeah, but sustainability is becoming more and more important. And sustainability is linked to the bill that you pay of utilities. We want to make that as low as possible as well. So we want to make it net positive by building the best houses that you can imagine on a sustainable level.
And what does that mean? Concrete, like what's the main difference between a Kepler home, and like a bandwoning? What are the biggest differentiators on that front?
Yeah, if you For customers, people who buy the house or who rent the house, it's the utility bill. In our houses, you have to put in all your effort to make the bill higher as 50 euros a month. So it's practically not doable to pay 50 euros a month on energy on energy bills. So that's the big difference, and that's on a utility or on a utility level of utilities the bill. But the other thing is, because we always build the same house, we use the same tiles. Yeah, we're a wholesale player. We negotiate better deals. And I can give the example for tiles. It's a tile, it costs, I think, 84 euros a square meter. We buy it for 12.60 euros directly in Spain. A total truck arrives with us in our production site. And because we buy the tile at that prices, we can give the people who buy a home with us other prices for those things as well. And if you put that together and you put that business model from a wholesaler to your end consumer, the price is for our Kepler house is significantly lower than the price of other developers.
Mm-hmm. And the 50 euro energy bill, how do you achieve that? Just a lot of insulation?
Yeah, that's a start. It's a good question, because everybody thinks you have to make sure that your heating is okay, that you use heat pumps and things like that. Everything starts with a good insulation. In Nederlands is the word schil I always use. I don't know what the English word.
The insulation. I think.
Yeah, the insulation.
I think so, yeah.
Every level of our house is 30 centimeter full blown of cellulose insulation. Every wall is
37 centimeters.
No, 30 centimeters.
30 centimeters.
Yeah, but our ground level also, our top level, again, 30 centimeters of isolation. Every wall is 16 centimeters of full, but it's blown in, not placed mats inside and things like that. No blown in. So I think with the start of Kepler, we got an interview at VTM News or at TV Limburg, I didn't know. And then all the newspapers called. And I think it was an article in the Morgen or in the Standard that I told the journalist, we isolate like crazy. You can't find anybody else who isolates like, puts isolation in houses like that. You can't find any developer. And of course you're going to find one, let's say, hippie guy who does it better. Yeah, that's not our competition. In the development land, nobody does it like we do, and that's the start. You have to start with the best isolated house that you have. And then we use Daikin heat pumps, then we use Miele toestels that are really sustainable, and then it goes on and on and on. But the start is your isolation, and that's top-notch with Kepler.
Okay, so now you are basically building the most sustainable home possible, and then how are you going to go to the level that you're starting to give back? Is there an idea already of like are you going to make it a CO2 positive home?
Yeah, at this point with the current Belgium EPC norms, it's CO2 positive. So the standards say it's positive. We're doing that already, and we think that you can't make a difference with building 50 houses, 100 houses. You have to build 1,000 houses every year to do that. And we think the market is ready to do those kind of things. And then you're going to make a big difference on CO2 emissions. But we're taking on the challenge.
Very, very inspiring. And today you were in quite a big site already.
Yeah.
Is there room to grow? Can you go bigger?
In May.
Okay.
Within what's 2-3 months, we're gonna double the space. Now we currently have 11,000 square feet. Then we go to 22,000 square feet, but then it's the end of expanding our current construction yard. But at that point, if we are full blown on production at 2026, we can do 22 houses. Production says 24 houses a month. I'm going to make it simple and say let's do 20 a month, and we build 11 months because I'm not Elon Musk. People don't work 12 months, and people work 11 months with vacation and things like that. But then you are going to 220 houses a year, and that's something that if you ask this question to a construction worker with us or to somebody at management level, everybody's going to say in 2026 we're going to build one house a day. Every day we're going to build one house. And that's, but the question was about are we going to expand every day one house? That's the maximum capacity that we have in Genk.
Mm-hmm. In this site, right? So every day there's going to leave a truck with a home
in 2026.
In 2026.
And then my personal goal is to put a sign at the entrance, Kepler, Belgium. And then we go on.
And then you go Kepler, Netherlands, Kepler, France. Right.
I think, but it's from a business perspective, then we will look at places where the building permits are easy to get for our houses, and where the square meter price is high. And then you're gonna see, okay, can we build a factory over here, or that's two indicators. There are more indicators, but there are two principal indicators that we can look at to build other factories and to copy paste our current factory.
Right. And do you have, like, if you take those two variables, where do you end up? Do you have an idea already?
Yeah, Berlin.
Berlin?
Yeah, they're paying around 4,800 till 5,000 euros per square meter. Land is also expensive, but in our business model, it's irrelevant what the land costs. We are buying land in let's say Diepenbeek, near Hasselt, for 100,000 euros for a building plot. And in Wezenbeek-Oppem in Brussels, we pay 250,000 euros for the same plot of 3-4 acres. So yeah, but in our business model, the land is not the driving cost. The house costs, the housing cost of to put the house on the land. It's the same cost to drive it from Genk to Diepenbeek or from Genk to Brussels. It costs 1,000 euros more. 1,000 euros is a marginal cost in our building process. So we don't have to look where is it situated. We have to make sure that it's 6 meters wide in the street, because the truck leaves and it arrives and has to be 6 meters in the street. So yeah, that's.
And Berlin, they have easy building permits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, the price of the piece of land doesn't really matter, because it's just a matter of pre-financing it, and then you sell it again, and then.
Like I say, if I'm talking to banks, and I always say, land is means to an end. Mm-hmm. Building plots is means to an end. It's to make the factory go round, and to sell more houses and to get better to the goal of building a net positive economy.
Mm-hmm. Kepler isn't your first company, right? Maybe if we take a step back, can you explain a little bit more how you ended up in this entrepreneurial journey? Like, where did you start, and what was the inspiration to do this? Yeah, that's maybe a good place to continue.
At this point, it's making a difference, making an impact. But it started at I think the third year of how do you say that? middelbare school.
Yeah, high school.
High school, yeah. It started there, buying ice creams in the summer and reselling them. And I still know the people ice creams from the Aldi.
Yeah.
They cost €2.60, and there were 6 in one package. And I sold them for €1.50 on the schoolyard. I got several times of detention. And I did that with kebab, with everything.
Okay.
That's how it started. At the end of I think in the 5th and the 6th grade, it were computers and cell phones. At one point, my father asked me, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because there's a lot of money in your bank account. And I told him, "Yeah, you see what's in my room? There are cell phones, there are laptops, and things like that." He didn't believe me. I had to undergo a drug test.
Really?
No shit. Yeah, really. Yeah. And to put it in perspective, there was €15,000 in my bank account, which
was a lot of
which
money.
is a lot of money. Yeah. So that's how it started. Then I got to university. I got the hang of buying and selling things. And I rented first. It was 800 square meters of industrial building to where I bought things from drilling machines till barbecues till everything I could get my hands on. And I know I can do this easily. If I can sell this easily 2 times or 2.5 times higher, I bought it. So
Everything that you could find.
Almost everything that was legal. Everything that was
legal.
At the end of my studies at the university, it was a industrial building of 2,500 square feet. It was
just random stuff.
Just random stuff.
Okay. That's quite a good story.
Quite a story, yeah. And then I was investment manager for 1.5 years. So, and there I got the hang of businesses and what they were, how you're building things, how you can build.
What did you study? Sorry to interrupt.
Law.
Law.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
In Leuven?
In Leuven.
All right.
Yeah. With a big interest in taxation, but I didn't do anything after my graduation. I just started as investment manager, but I do think it's the most boring study of them all. Now, I don't think I know that's the most boring study, of university, but it gives an analytical view about things. If something happens, if you look at the situation, you have the analytical view of a lawyer and say, okay, how this, and okay, if that happens, we have to make sure that that's covered, and so you get a way of thinking from your studies, but it was boring. And after that,
but Leuven wasn't boring.
Leuven was nice. Leuven was good. And then after my studies was investment manager, and then I saw a lot of people came with business plans and things like that, and I was really intrigued. And one day I put myself on the other side of the table and said, hey, I think this is something we could do. They laughed at me. I left the next day, and I started the company 2 weeks. Two weeks later I started, but in fact it did take 4 or 5 weeks. That was at first was an advertising company to make money. When I had a little bit of money in the bank, I think it was about €75,000. After 2 years, we started developing software for digital signage. So to make sure that
like DocuSign and stuff like that.
Yeah. Things like that. And it was for advertising purposes at that point, but the goal was from the beginning to make that software, but I didn't have the money, so and then we put screens all over the place with the advertising model behind that. Then the software was established, and then we built, let's say, to keep it simple, we had Carrefour as a client, and Carrefour could place advertisings of Coca-Cola and Nestle and on the screens. But I want to make it interactive, or like I called it at that point, the offline cookie. That when let us give the example of Carrefour. Carrefour made an agreement with Coca-Cola that guys, they need to see Coca-Cola. Girls need to see Coca-Cola Light, to keep it really simple. I walk in the store, Coca-Cola, I see Coca-Cola on the screen. My girlfriend comes 10 seconds behind me, and she walks and she sees Coca-Cola Light. And what we actually built was an API that had trigger points like a camera, like a motion detector, like the weather, is it good weather? And the software on the screen, they changed the input, the data was the input to make changes on the screen automatically. And I want to build, I was on track on building there a SaaS player. So you had to pay for the software, for the screens. The hardware of the screens, it didn't interest me. The making of the logos or nice advertising campaigns didn't interest me. I want to make it purely a SaaS player. My associate of partner at that point, he didn't. He was a consultancy guy, and he wanted to make it a consultancy business. And so we split up, and then I got the first money, real money. I invested some in real estate in Hasselt, where I live, renovated places, did 14 studios in Leuven also. And then I got the hang of real estate, and mainly real estate. That was the seed from my previous company, Pand. That was for investors. So the thing was making a good Excel, making sure that your margins are okay, and that you have a sufficient huurrendement.
Rental income.
Yeah, that your Excel matches. That was at that point my thing. And then
with Pand, you built also homes in a factory?
No, we didn't build them. We were just a developer. Somebody else built them, and we bought them.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah, then that idea grew. And then I had a talk with a friend of mine, Ismail, who was here on the podcast.
He was also a guest, I think, 5 or 6 episodes ago. Yeah.
And Ismail, I'm doing quite some sporting. We did quite some sporting events together. Only he was way better than me.
Triathlon.
Yeah, but that's not important. But then you're gonna ask how much better was he? Yeah, way better. Way better. Okay. We did some couple cool journeys. We went to Taiwan. We went to South of Africa. I went with him to Hawaii. So pretty cool and inspiring guy to have as a friend. And Ismail said to me at that point, okay, you have to make sure that if you want to go into the B2B business, that you're building always the same house and things like that. And then I evaluate and manage to make plans for Pand. But after, I think, 2 years, we sold and delivered, not only sold but delivered, I think 65, 70 houses. I think, then that's what I told previously or 15 minutes ago. Then the idea started from, okay, we need to build them ourselves. We can do this better. And then the seeds was grown for Kepler at this point. And,
so the entrepreneurial spirit was there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And your family is not entrepreneurial?
Not at all. My father worked in bank, ING, first as maintenance guy and later as real estate responsible guy. And our mom is a chef cook. So
you have no idea Like, do you have an idea where it came from, the entrepreneurial drive?
No, not at all.
Interesting. Usually there's always like a person or an event that like...
No. And I always, now can I say, what's the drive now? I'm making an impact. I'm making a large impact. Not are we going to be, from an entrepreneurial kind of view, you can say, oh, Dennis, and people are saying this now at this point, okay, but, you're building this year 75 houses. Yeah, that's cool, but that's not making an impact. Not if you want to make the world a better place and make it net positive. We have to build thousands. 10,000 of houses. So now it's making an impact, and not about making money or I do like the journey. But now the reason is making an impact. But I don't have. I know that a lot of people have that moment. That's when I decided. I don't have that. It's been there for as long as I know, and now I can clearly define and say I want to make impact. Yeah. I know, I do think when you're younger, if you want to make impact, and a lot of people maybe don't disagree, but I think it's true. If you want to make impact, you have to have some kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to build a business and things like that, you have to have some kind of money. And the thing that I can't do, there are people who are really good at that, but to do that for somebody else with money. Yeah, I want to own the business myself, or a large part of it. So, yeah.
Interesting. So you've been now active for a little bit more than a year, which again, so crazy. But what have been the biggest lessons for you since starting Kepler? Or maybe if we add Pan to it as well. What have you learned about the construction industry that's like the most interesting lesson to share to the audience?
The most important in the construction industry,
or the lesson that you've learned throughout the entire journey.
There are too much dinosaurs in the construction industry, and they're not going to change. And that's really strange for me. Also, if you look at Gartner or really detailed places on what was the innovation or how innovative is the construction industry? Nothing is innovative in the construction industry. You have to think we are still building houses brick by brick, then taking pieces out of it, put electricity in there, and then I think, okay, how long are we doing this? Okay, for so long, are we going to change it? No. And I think to myself, oh man, yeah, that's. But the question was, what lesson did I learn? The lesson that I learned was that we can do it better, and that I want to make a difference there as well, and prove them wrong. Let's say prove the dinosaurs wrong. And I think we're on track with that, and doing it better every day.
Yeah, it's very recognizable what you say. I do hope that at a certain point, like a big part of the market is gonna realize how silly some of the things are, and that they're gonna act quickly. And I have seen some positive elements, like we have projects going with some of the biggest developers in Belgium, and they are taking, they're seeing like change needs to happen. So I also have been positively surprised throughout the last couple of years, but on a whole, it's quite indeed a dinosaur story.
Yeah, I think it's strange, very strange. But I'm also seeing other people, other businesses arise, and I think what your guys doing is pretty cool. And I think that you can build traction and build momentum, and that goes. And then it's going to be, I think it's going to be a snowball.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
No.
We're not building snowballs. Not at all.
No. The snowball is taking time.
Yeah.
But once it starts going, indeed, I think it's going to go quite quickly.
Yeah.
Like the industrialization process, lately we've been getting the feedback that we are like equally expensive as traditional. But we are same with you. You're building next year. Or in 2 years, you're gonna maybe build a home a day, which is already quite a scale. But in the grand scheme of things, it's the very beginning of industrialization, right? There are car factories who manufacture, 200,000 cars a year. So there is still a really long road of industrialization ahead of us. And then when I start thinking, okay, maybe it's going to take 2 more years, or maybe it's going to take 5. I don't know when. I hope it's going to be sooner than later. But at a certain point, it's going to go, it's a percentage point. More affordable to build prefabricated than traditional. And then the next year, it's maybe going to be 3. And 2 years later, it's going to be 6. And then all of a sudden, it's going to go so quickly. And the capacity is going to be limited. And then I think it's going to go real quick.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing as you, but I don't think that we're there yet. Mainly in Belgium. Belgium are born with the baksteen in the maag syndrome. Everybody wants to build his own house and his own kitchen. Because that's cool, and we worked hard for it. It's not the best idea in the world. And I think in Belgium we're also the uitzondering op de regel.
The exception on the rule.
Yeah. If you look at the Netherlands, Germany, only 35% is a homeowner. In Belgium, we have 70. Last number I don't know, but it's around 70%. That's a homeowner. That's sick. That's not even possible anymore. And with the last fluctuations of increasing of prices, that's in Belgium they always say, the house, your cornerstone of your finances. Yeah, that's not possible anymore. And when I started Kepler, they asked me to speak at FOCA, and I said, my children now they're 3 and 6, then they were 2 and 5, and I say, okay, I'm gonna work really hard and make sure they have a house. And if you're building one house a day, it should be possible if they're 20. But the average people within 20 years, when my kids grow up and need a house, it's not gonna be 70% anymore. It's not gonna be 35% anymore. In Singapore, only 6% is a homeowner. And everybody started laughing when I said that. Say, okay, you guys are laughing because you think I'm wrong. I'm thinking wrong as well. It's going to be faster. It's going to be, and then it's going to, and then I'm answering a bit of your question. Building houses or building in general, it gets a lot more expensive, and there's going to be a big place for the rental market as well.
Absolutely. Like we're doing a project now with the Eon Residential platform. I don't know if you heard about them. It's like a fund of 300 million to build rental homes in Belgium or buy. Because the last 2 years during COVID, it's going a little bit down again, but we saw 20% price increases, right? In cost of building. So even a couple who both did university, if you don't get any money from home, no way, eh? You can't buy a home.
Can't buy a home, no. You
can't buy a home. So, especially with the more strict bank legislation, so it's gonna become more and more a luxury thing to buy your own home. Plus, then you have a new generation of people, new generation of Belgians who are also grown up in an economy where it's more service-based. You don't necessarily need to own the car. You can use Cambio. You can use Uber. And I think that generation is also going to be less linked to I want to own that home. So yeah, agreed. I think there's going to be a big growth in rental homes.
And especially in Belgium, because we have that high rate of homeowners. It's not possible anymore.
No. Fascinating. Let's see, because we are approaching the hour mark, which is kind of the house time limit that we put on the podcast. What else could be interesting to dive a bit deeper into? I think, if people like for Kepler, if they would be interested in owning a Kepler home, what can they do?
I do get asked this question a lot at our website. They can give us their postal code where they want to live.
Okay.
And we have at this point we have 4 people who are buying lands all over Belgium, but also a little bit in the Netherlands at this point already. Kepler has 4 people who buy lands all day in, day out. So we have a quite rapidly. If we get, let's say, Antwerp, we get this month 30 people who say, okay, I want to live in Antwerp, or a smaller part, let's say Dastelberg, near to Ghent. Okay, then we're going to search Dastelberg. And I know for sure when we do that, we have one guy who is responsible for East Flanders. Then, within 1 month, we're going to find a suitable building land in Dastelberg.
Okay,
but they can choose. They can, and then they have the landing of the plot over there, where we can build a Kepler home, but they can choose something. There's our tiles, our kitchen, meal appliances, Daikin heat pumps. But that's what we do when people choose for a city or to live in, or a building land that we own or have. Then we invite them to our model home. We the first 2 houses we built, the house on the right we sold, the last one we kept, and we invite people over there. So then we do a tour of the house, then we have a sit down, we go through every question that they have, and then it's easy, because then people ask, but our kitchen, how does it look? Like that. Our tile, this tile is in your house as well. So that's a good combination. If people are searching for things, they can list on our website, and if once we have bought the land, people who want a piece of land in that kind of city, they'll get a mail, and then we invite them to our model home in Halle in Limburg, and then the conversation goes on from there.
Great, easy system, straightforward, simple.
And I always say easy system also in sales. The question, if they can ask what they want, but the answer is always no.
This is the price. This is how it's gonna look like. This is where it's gonna be. Yeah.
Can I change? No. But my father has a company. We can do the doors and stuff. No. The answer is always no.
You can't even let anything out of it.
No.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah. And I'm not that arrogant that I choose the kitchen myself. We have kitchens from Nolte, the second largest kitchen builder in Europe. They're telling me what the color needs to be. They're telling me market trends. Our bricks, they're coming from Van de Zande. Van de Zande is going to tell me what bricks I'm going to need to use next year. I'm not that arrogant. I'm going to say that's cool that we're going to do that. No, our suppliers tell us what to do, and the suppliers are liking Kepler as well, because we are what they call a bulk client, but because we say, okay, that kitchen this year, okay, 75 times. The bricks from the Zande, the lithium brick that we choose, we do change some color of the bricks on the outside, but the lithium bricks, it's 80% of the time that we use that kind of brick. The truck from Van de Zande just drives in our construction yard, and
So you are gonna see, if we're gonna see more and more Kepler houses throughout the Flemish scene, they are going to change from year to year. There are going to be trends, right?
Yeah, trends,
Okay.
of course. But other people or also cities, they ask me, but isn't that going to be strange? Because, then within 5 years, maybe we have 10, 15 Kepler houses. Yeah, but we do small projects. We do 2 houses there, 4 houses there, 6 houses there, 2 houses there. And there are going to be Kepler houses, but I can say the same thing. And I like the company, but you have the same thing with Matexi. Which is the biggest developer in Belgium, or Ion, who's becoming the biggest, or our company. I don't know if they're competing about being the biggest, but they are building the same things in a lot of cities. And with the 36,000 new entities that are built every year, let's say that we do every day 1 house. It's what's the percentages? 0.3% of the newly built houses. I think they'll manage.
All right, then to close off, we always do a couple lighter questions. The audience will probably already know these quite a bit, but if you could have a drink with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Richard Branson.
Right. Yeah, we already discussed this a little bit before we started recording, but can you explain why?
I think, of course, it's always with, he gives an insight in what he wants you to see, but I do really think that guy enjoyed every minute of his entrepreneurial life, but especially in his entrepreneurial life. And also things that didn't work out, like Virgin Cola was the biggest flop ever. He lost, I think, 1.2, 1.4 billion on that, but he did it smoothly.
He did it in style.
That's also I do think a lot of success, big successes of the group are with the crazy shit he did to promote things. And I do think he enjoyed every minute of his entrepreneurial life, and I admire that. So I would love to invite him in Genk in our production facility, or if he grew bigger, maybe we'll establish a production facility in the UK, and that's more convenient to invite him.
Or on the Virgin Island.
Or on the Virgin
Very small production facility.
Okay.
Yeah, he's quite an inspiring guy.
Yeah. And I do admire. Yes. What's I don't know how many brands or companies are under the Virgin umbrella. A lot, but one of the key driving points in his financial success story is literally the brand. The brand Virgin, put a brand on, and I think it's one of his books. They say, okay, at one point, Virgin was a well-known brand, a respected brand, a consumer-centric brand. Everything we did with the label, everything you did with the label Virgin became a success. Railroads, everything they did got an instant success, and I do think that's something to admire as an entrepreneur. You cannot admire that.
No, I think if you have a solid brand, it's one of the most valuable things you can own. I do find it interesting if you see how it's evolving. Like I studied marketing, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how in the next couple of years the brands that we know, like an Apple and like Nike, and like it's brands of businesses, and you see it now happening really quickly that the most valuable brands are becoming people via social media. Like you have the I don't know if you ever heard about Mr. Beast. It's the biggest YouTuber ever. Today up to now. The guy is like 26, 25. Every Saturday he uploads a movie and it gets watched 200 million times in a week.
Crazy.
Like what? Like that guy still has 30 years to go, minimum. Like 30, like 40, 50 years. And I saw this morning, I was reading something about it, like the Super Bowl had 150 million viewers. That's the biggest sport event in America. That guy on his own is doing almost double the viewership, but his commercial value is still perceived lower by traditional brands. But there's no single reason why that should be the case. It's just legacy media catching up. And like the personal brand, I think how that's going to impact the entire branding landscape, it's going to be very interesting to follow, I think. Maybe one more. Is there a book that you recently read that you would like to advise to our listeners?
Yeah, but wait. I'm gonna search.
While Dennis is looking, I think the biography that we both read that we were talking about before the recording, the first biography of Richard Branson, which also honestly inspired me to go into business when I was 18, is also a really a big tip. But I think now there's going to be another one.
The book is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox.
I don't think
the horse.
If you keep it the mic.
Okay. The Fox, the Mole, and the Horse.
Okay.
And it's about doing patiently what you love, and everything will be okay.
Right.
And that's I bought the book for my partner Frank as well, and I think I'm gonna buy the book several more times and to give it to key individuals in our organization. It's a small book. It reads really easy, and when you read this kind of book, you start thinking, and to make it really simple and start appreciating little things more and just be more happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
that's nice.
The key giveaway of the book.
That sounds great. It is a little bit ironic that you say about doing things slowly because, 21 million in the first year is not slowly.
That's true. And I'm very, very impatient guy. We hire at this point. We hire every month one new guy, girl. But the first meetings, they are literally seeing how impatient I am. And the newest kid on the block, Zainab. Last week, she looked at me and said, "Are you getting nervous?" I say, "Yeah, a little, but it's okay. It's okay. It's your first day, and I don't want to make you nervous. So yeah, but I can see that you're nervous. Say, okay, it's okay. Well, but I'm a very impatient guy, and this book and other things help.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then Dennis, I think we have arrived at the end of this very first podcast.
Okay.
I would like to thank you very much for your time and for the wonderful story that you've brought today. And again, I am very curious to see how this is going to evolve.
Me as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
If it goes so quickly. I think if we're going to do another session in a couple of years, there will probably be a lot happened since then. So very much looking forward to that, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Bao Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you're interested in Bao Living in our Smart Adaptable Module or SAM, go check out our website baoliving.com.